The modern world has forever changed our lives. With the rapid rise of technology and every new innovation that seems to come out every year, it's becoming more clear that technology is becoming a part of our lives more than ever before. Now, that sounds great, as it is also evident that we as people have access to almost anything. With the swipe of a button, we can easily talk to our family on the other side of the world. We can keep up with what our friends are doing. There has been a lot that technology has provided us. However, I am more curious to know when enough is really enough. Is there a point where technology can actually be damaging to our well-being? Perhaps so. This is where I wanted to give paveway to the topic of this video. Cell phones are perhaps the most consequential invention ever. It was made with the intent of bringing us people together and making communicating over the phone easier, which it has done. However, for every action, there is an equal or opposite reaction. What if the cell phones that were made for our convenience are actually damaging us? Countless studies have proven that prolonged cell phone use can have very damaging effects, particularly to our nervous system, such as decreased attention span, short temper, and even sleeping problems as well. That is why it is important that we as people should make a mindful effort to reduce our screen time. And if that sounds interesting, then let's get into it. The first thing to consider when looking into reducing your screen time is to track how much time you spend on your phone. A really good way to gauge how much time you tend to spend on your phone is to actually track it. From there, you can get a good understanding of what apps you're spending your time on. I think it's very, very important to know how much time we spend on our phone, because you guys could be surprised by how much time people spend on their phone. I remember when I first thought about this video, as a prerequisite, what I did was I asked a bunch of my friends how much time they spent on their phones, and I was shocked. Most of my friends were averaging a screen time from 7 to 9 hours a day. Think about that. That's 7 to 9 hours of your life just staring into a screen. I believe that by tracking your screen time, you are making the first step to decreasing your screen time and taking back control of your life. Another thing that I must say is that when you decide to reduce your screen time, you have to make an actual effort to do so. Look, let me be frank about something. You guys just cannot say, I'm going to spend less time on my phone and then expect that to happen. For some of you, reducing your screen time may seem like a sweat, but that is until you realize just how addicted we all are to our phones. And honestly, it's not entirely all our fault that we have a phone addiction, because all these apps that you go on are designed to be addicting. It may seem like an overstatement, but it is not. Every app that you go on, whether that be TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, or heck, even Clash of Clans, all those apps are designed to keep you on there for as long as possible. That's what these developers want, for you to spend as much time as possible on their apps. And it makes perfect sense too, if you think about it. So what do these people do? They design these apps to make them as engaging as possible. So when you commit to spending less time on your phone, actually commit to it, because if you half-ass it, you'll find yourself scrolling through TikTok again. It's really easy to fall back into it. It is going to take some level of awareness on your end, because then you'll know when you're about to binge on your phone. Another thing that I have noticed is that I tend to spend less time on my phone when I am very busy. That is particularly when I'm working on a video, whether that be scripting, recording, or editing, or even at the gym. I've also noticed that in these instances, I tend to be very focused and driven on what I need to accomplish. So one really good way to reduce your screen time is to get really busy on something that you find valuable. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. If you guys want to boost your levels of productivity, literally spend less time on your phone. Let me explain why. Many of the apps that we use on our phones are mere distraction. They're not actually important in our lives. Sure, our friend posting on their Insta with their slick Mercedes may seem dull, but at the end of it all, it really has nothing to do with us. That post that we saw was actually a distraction from focusing on the important aspects of our own lives. That's exactly why when we spend less time on our phones, we are more focused on what's important to us rather than aimlessly scrolling through your phones. However, another reason why getting busy helps us get off our phone is because There's an actual reason as to why you're mindlessly scrolling through your phone. Scrolling through your phone stems from a subconscious feeling that your life lacks purpose or a general direction. So as a way to combat that feeling, one uses their phone to fill that void. It would make sense that a phone would provide a fitting distraction from an overall unfulfilling life. Because let me be frank about another thing, there are an infinite amount of things you can do with your phone. Therefore, by focusing on something that is of actual importance to us, this subconscious feeling of unfulfillment will decrease over time, meaning that you'll find yourself spending less time on your phone. If you guys have followed the steps that I just laid out to you, you should be at a point where you have reduced your screen time by a considerable amount. However, another safekeeping to consider is to only go on your phone if you absolutely need to. What this step means is to spend less time on your phone in general. Log off. Take a break from social media. It'll feel good to do so. Only go on your phone when you absolutely have to. Meaning, that's only when you need to answer a call or a text, if you need to send an email, or even listen to some music. This is actually a really good way to reduce your screen time because most of our time on our phones are spent on social media or other entertainment related apps. When you get to a point like this, you'll begin noticing that you don't really need to spend all that time on your phone. Going on Instagram doesn't really seem to be that important since you have other things in your lives going on. What you'll notice instead is that you'll be more present, more aware of your surroundings. Since you aren't all hunched up and scrolling through your phone, you'll find yourself actively engaging in things rather than being a passive bystander. There are a lot of benefits to reducing your screen time, which a lot of other creators that are way bigger than me have already covered. But doing so may not be as easy as you think. That is why it is important that we as people take a mindful effort to spend less time on our phones since they can be so addicting. Anyways, that about does it for this video. My name is Ali and thank you so much for tuning in today's video. This is my take on how to reduce your screen time on your phone. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of it. But also feel free to share some of your own advice on how to reduce your screen time as well. Be sure to like, and if you are new here, be sure to subscribe. It's absolutely free and I would love to have you over. Anyways, this is me signing off for this one. Peace.